के हर प्रधानमंत्री ने संविधान सम्मत लोकतंत्र के लक्ष्यों की उसकी पूर्ति में भरसक योगदान दिया है। उन्हें स्मरण करना स्वतंत्र भारत की यात्रा को जानना है। यहां आने वाले लोग देश के पूर्व प्रधानमंत्रियों के योगदान से रूबरू होंगे, उनकी पृष्ठभूमि, उनके संघर्ष सृजन को जानेंगे। भावी पीढ़ी को ये भी सीख मिलेगी कि हमारे लोकतांत्रिक देश में किस किस पृष्ठभूमि से आकर अलग अलग प्रधानमंत्री बनते रहे।
On the 131st birth anniversary of B.R. Ambedkar, Prime Minister Modi inaugurated the museum dedicated to former Prime Ministers at the Teen Murti Estate, the residence of Jawaharlal Nehru, that was converted into the Nehru Memorial Museum and Library after his death. The Teen Murti Estate is in every way a natural location for Pradhanmantri Sangrahalaya, because this is the story of continuity. Namaskar, hello and welcome viewers. You're watching this special presentation of Sansad TV from the Pradhanmantri Sangrahalaya in the national capital that displays all the remarkable achievements of the former heads of the Indian Republic and what the country has achieved in the last 75 years since independence. It honors the contributions of all the 14 Prime Ministers of India since independence, irrespective of ideology, party or tenure in office. Without further ado, let me take you through this nostalgic, aesthetic, intellectual and visual delight. Come along. In 1947, India had freed a land left impoverished by British colonialism.
At the stroke of the midnight hour, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom.
Successive leaders of India and Prime Ministers gave a new direction to the country, turning it away from being a land of famished deprivation to becoming food surplus. The Pradhanmantri Sangrahalaya is a tribute to every Prime Minister of India since independence. It is a narrative of how each one strengthened the development journey of our nation, maturing from the first unsure steps to the confident strides over the years. It is a history of collective effort, powerful evidence of the creative success of India's democracy.
We had to decide the template, what must be done, and our conscious decision was, and when I say conscious, I mean the members of the Executive Council, the staff which was working, the stakeholders, the private contracts who were given this, that we must have equity in terms of narrating the story of all the Prime Ministers. Secondly, we must not indulge in value judgments. Let that be done by historians. Let us only display here the facts.
The museum greets you with a namaste in all 22 scheduled Indian languages. The entrance of the museum is adorned with a spectacular 3D printed national emblem rotating in the air. Adding to this display is an artistic mobile installation of multiple kinetic LED lights suspended from the ceiling, denoting freedom, progress and growth of the nation, forming spellbinding patterns of our national flag. The logo of the Sangrahalaya shows hands holding the Dharma Chakra that symbolizes the nation and democracy. The guiding principle has been to recognize the contribution of all the Prime Ministers in a non-partisan manner.
Journey of India, starting from the first elections with say some 271 million voters to over 900 million electors on the rolls today, and the journey of development that you can see from what people thought was, that India was in the bullock cart age when we started out as an independent nation, and where we are now, the technological hub that India is becoming, and so on and so forth. So this is actually an institution that encapsulates all of this, and that is why it's very, very important that this celebration of our democracy and our success as a nation is coming about. We are able to present this on this 75th anniversary of our independence.
The saga of modern India starts with the freedom struggle and the making of our great constitution. The Sangrahalaya tells the story of how our Prime Ministers helped our country navigate its various challenges to ensure all-round progress. Within this story is a message for the younger generation. There are greater horizons to conquer as we transform into a new India. The Prime Minister is the head of the government and the leader of the Council of Ministers. He is the chief of the executive branch of the Union government. Since India's independence in 1947, individuals of great caliber, exhibiting a Herculean passion to work for the country, have been the Prime Ministers. Our Prime Ministers came from every class and section of the society, as the gates of democracy were open to all. Each Prime Minister left an indelible footprint in the journey of development, social harmony, economic empowerment that enabled India realize the true meaning of freedom. The content that is displayed at the museum has been collated from information collected from Prasar Bharati, Doordarshan Film Division, Sansad TV, Ministry of Defence and Indian and foreign media houses. Personal items, gifts, letters, commemorative stamps, speeches of Prime Ministers and anecdotal representations are all on display. The families of the former Prime Ministers were contacted for information. The Pradhanmantri Sangrahalaya is a seamless blend of the old and the new and includes the erstwhile Nehru Museum building designated as Block 1, which now has been completely updated, technically advanced on the life and contribution of India's first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. He served as Prime Minister of India for 17 years from 1947 to 1964. He is among the earliest founders of modern India, helping India to step into the age of industrial and technological development. A number of gifts received by him from all over the world, but not exhibited so far, have been put on the display in the renovated block. The museum showcases his life, political journey and demise. Gulzari Lal Nanda was the second Prime Minister of India. He served the nation for 2 brief terms after the deaths of Jawaharlal Nehru in 1964 and Lal Bahadur Shastri in 1966 respectively. He was instrumental in organizing the Indian National Trade Union Congress. Lal Bahadur Shastri was the third Prime Minister of India. As Prime Minister, he promoted the White and Green Revolutions and coined the popular slogan, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. The museum has his personal belongings like checkbook, charkha and badminton. He also led India to victory in the Indo-Pak War of 1965. In the war, Pakistan suffered heavily in men and material in spite of her superiority in arms and equipment.
साथियों, आज सवेरे 3:30 बजे भारत और पाकिस्तान में लड़ाई बंद हो गई। पाकिस्तान ने हमारे देश में हमलावरों को 5 अगस्त को भेजकर ये लड़ाई शुरू की थी।
The war formally ended with the Tashkent Agreement on 10th of January 1966, and Lal Bahadur Shastri died the following day, still in Tashkent, and left the nation teary-eyed. Indira Gandhi was the first woman Prime Minister of India and served the nation for 2 5-year terms. She is credited for abolition of privy purses, nationalization of banks and Pokhran 1. During her tenure, India went to war with Pakistan that resulted in an Indian victory and the creation of Bangladesh in 1971. With the help of air supremacy achieved in the eastern province, as well as the rapid advances of the Indian armed forces, backed by allied forces of Bangladesh, Pakistan surrendered in Dhaka on December 16, 1971. Indira Gandhi also imposed an emergency from 1975 to 1977.
भाइयों और बहनों, राष्ट्रपति जी ने आपातकाल की घोषणा की है।
The imposition of emergency led to several leaders being jailed and censorship. The museum also showcases her comeback moment after the emergency in political arena and events that led to her assassination. Morarji Desai served as the Prime Minister of India for 2 years from 1977 to 1979. During his long career in politics, he held many important posts in government. After the emergency was lifted in 1977, the political parties of the opposition fought together against the Congress under the umbrella of Janata Party and won the 1977 elections. Desai was elected Prime Minister and became the first non-Congress Prime Minister of India. He restored normal relations with China for the first time since the 1962 war. He was the oldest person to hold the office of Prime Minister at the age of 81. He subsequently retired from all political posts. Chaudhry Charan Singh served as the Prime Minister of India for 170 days. Throughout his life, he focused on improving the living conditions of farmers. He became particularly notable in Uttar Pradesh from the 1950s for drafting and ensuring the passage of what were then the most revolutionary land reforms in the country. Historians and people alike frequently refer to him as the champion of India's peasants. Rajiv Gandhi became the youngest Prime Minister of India and served for a single term from 1984 to 1989. His first action as Prime Minister was passing the anti-defection law. He introduced computers to India and revolutionized communication networks across the nation. Rajiv Gandhi is credited with laying the foundation of Panchayati Raj. His term was also marked by the Bofors issue. While campaigning for the elections, he was assassinated by a suicide bomber of the LTTE. Vishwanath Pratap Singh served as the Prime Minister of India from 1989 to 1990. He was instrumental in getting the Mandal Commission report implemented. The Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe Act of 1989 was passed during his tenure. He is credited for the massive airlift of Indians from Iraq and Kuwait, the passage of the Prasar Bharati Act and establishment of the National Commission for Women. Chandrasekhar became the first Prime Minister of India to head a coalition government at the centre. He established Bharat Yatra centres in various parts of the country. He played a key role in preventing India from suffering the ignominy of a sovereign default. Well known for a fiery spirit, he is referred to as the Young Turk. P.V. Narasimha Rao served as Prime Minister of India for a single 5-year term from 1991 to 1996. During his tenure, India witnessed the rollout of economic reforms in the form of liberalization and globalization that set the stage for a radical transformation of India. His achievements include steering India through the 1991 economic crisis, completing a tenure with a minority government, establishing diplomatic relations with Israel, starting India's Low Keys policy, rekindling India's nuclear program. H.D. Dev Gowda served as a Prime Minister of India for slightly less than a year. He focused on the farmers of the country and kick-started the Delhi Metro project. He is popularly called the son of the soil for his significant contributions to agriculture. Indra Kumar Gujral was the Prime Minister for slightly less than a year. He had worked with various ministries in different capacities before he became the Prime Minister of India. He is famous for the Gujral Doctrine that is considered a milestone in India's foreign policy. Atal Bihari Vajpayee. served as Prime Minister of India for 13 days in 1996 and 2 terms from 1998 to 2004. He is known for his valuable contribution to India's economic growth. Operation Vijay, commonly known as the Kargil War, was fought against Pakistan and won during his tenure as Prime Minister. Vajpayee led India's entry into the elite global club of nuclear power. In the museum, a segment titled Operation Shakti showcases the Pokhran nuclear test explosion in 1998 with sound effects in the background.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The Vajpayee display highlights a number of important initiatives taken by his government, including the disinvestment policy, Golden Quadrilateral, the Lahore bus journey of 1999, and contributions to fight against terrorism. A video of Vajpayee's speech at the UN General Assembly in Hindi is also available in this section. Dr. Manmohan Singh served as Prime Minister of India from 2004 to 2014. He is widely credited for efficiently carrying out economic reforms in the country. Dr. Singh's section features the Indo-US Civil Nuclear Energy Cooperation Agreement, National Food Security Act, and the reorganization of Andhra Pradesh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the current and the fourth largest serving Prime Minister of India. His formidable leadership style has ushered a new era of politics in India. As the Prime Minister of India, he is architect of landmark campaigns. Under his leadership, the country rolled out the GST regime, abrogated Article 370, and navigated the challenge of the COVID-19 pandemic.
As all the visitors ask me this question when I come out, when will you have Modi gallery? What about that? Why he is not here? So we have started work on that. There is a gallery which is now we have identified, and in about 4 to 6 months we would make it complete, and the gallery for Mr. Modi will also be put here. We didn't do it for various reasons. One of the reasons was our commitment that Honorable Prime Minister should inaugurate it, and naturally he would not inaugurate his own gallery. So we thought that we will stop the story at our Dr. Manmohan Singh, who was the Prime Minister, and we will add on. And that's the reason in introductory address, I had said, please treat this as work in progress. And that was the hint that there is more to come in this Sangrahalaya.
The Pradhanmantri Sangrahalaya offers visitors a variety of fascinating features. It has employed technology-based interfaces to encompass heterogeneity in content and frequent rotation of display.
I also have to tell you, which perhaps I may not have discussed earlier. When it was presented to Honorable Prime Minister before he agreed to come here for inauguration, a 15 minutes presentation was done about what the museum is coming like, how will it look. So he was of the view, and he gave the guidance, that you must have technology, but technology must not take away the human factor. Technology must not be such that a young child is overawed by what is coming. Everybody should accept the technology, adopt the technology, and enjoy the technology here. At the same time, it must also see how these great leaders have lived their life.
Step by step with your favorite Prime Minister. Photos while sitting nearby your favorite Prime Minister. Yes, that's possible in the museum thanks to technology.
नरेंद्र मोदी जी मेरे फेवरेट प्राइम मिनिस्टर, और मैंने सोचा नहीं था कि इनके साथ मैं फ़ोटो क्लिक करा पाऊँगी, तो ऑब्वियसली मुझे बहुत ही अच्छा लगा इनके साथ फ़ोटो क्लिक करा के। बड़ा मन था प्रधानमंत्री जी को देखने का, लेकिन आज ऐसे VR में वॉक करके ऐसा लगा जैसे उनके साथ ही वॉक कर रहे थे, तो बहुत अच्छा लगा।
Holograms, virtual reality, augmented reality, multi-touch, multimedia, interactive kiosks, computerized kinetic sculptures, smartphone applications, interactive screens, experimental installations, and other innovative features make the content highly interactive and immersive.
One of the things that had a great impact on me was his reference to Kalpana Daridrya as defining India of the past and India of the present. It is poverty of imagination, he said, which has affected us in a very big way as a nation in the past. And we have to get rid of that. So one of his mantras for Pradhanmantri Sangrahalaya was, don't be constrained in that way by poverty of imagination. Let yourself loose. Feel free. Let your imagination fly. And the whole thing will blossom as an idea. So if you see the Pradhanmantri Sangrahalaya, you will be able to see that that idea of his, that you must allow your imagination full scope. So that is Kalpana Sampannata, you can call it.
Enter a world of national pride, integrity, and honor. How was India integrated? Find out in the Freedom and Unity Room.
सरदार पटेल ने कहा,
छोटे छोटे जो वाड़े हैं उससे बहुत नुकसान होता है, और हम हमारा जो करीब टूका स्वार्थ है उसके पर ख्याल करते हैं, उससे मुल्क को फायदा नहीं होता है, और जिस चीज से मुल्क को फायदा नहीं होता है, इस चीज से आकर हमको खुद को भी नुकसान होता है।
This room tells the story of freedom struggle led by Mahatma Gandhi and the integration of states achieved by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel.
सरदार आवश्यकता पड़ने पर उग्र हो सकते थे और आवश्यकता पड़ने पर अपने महान उद्देश्य भारत की एकता के लक्ष्य को पाने के लिए अपने कौशल से विवश कर सकते थे। सरदार पटेल ने 15 अगस्त से पहले भारत में सम्मिलित न होने वाले शासकों के जीवन को दुश्वार करने का अपना वादा पूरा किया, जो हैदराबाद के 7वें निजाम उस्मान अली खान को समझ आने वाला था। भारत का धैर्य तब समाप्त हुआ जब 21 अगस्त 1948 को हैदराबाद ने संयुक्त राष्ट्र से मध्यस्थता करने की अपील की। सरदार पटेल ने मोर्चा संभाला। 13 सितंबर को सुबह 4 बजे हैदराबाद के खिलाफ पुलिस कार्रवाई शुरू की। 4 दिन बाद निजाम ने आत्मसमर्पण कर दिया और हैदराबाद भारतीय संघ का हिस्सा बन गया।
With the time machine, ride back in time and relive the past through the custom-built time machine. Watch India change and advance before your eyes.
In June 2017, Prime Minister Narendra Modi approved the construction of 10 indigenously developed 700 megawatt pressurized heavy water reactors, PHWRs, in fleet mode.
Lal Kile ke प्राचीर से witness the memorable speeches given by the Prime Ministers from the ramparts of the Red Fort.
शक्ति की निशानी, आजादी की पहली पुकार यहीं से। मेक इन इंडिया, केमिकल्स से लेकर के फार्मास्यूटिकल तक कम, मेक इन इंडिया, ऑटोमोबाइल से लेकर के एग्रो वैल्यूएशन तक कम, मेक इन इंडिया।
Get a personalized letter from your favorite Prime Minister as well.
मेरा नाम अनुराग कुमार द्विवेदी है। मैं फतेहपुर यूपी से आया हुआ हूँ और आज आए यहाँ पर देखा, काफ़ी कुछ अच्छा लगा और साथ ही में एक लेटर भी मिला अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी का। तो इसमें लिखा हुआ है कि जय और पराजय एक जीवन का अंश है, उसको बराबर देखना चाहिए। तो बहुत ही अच्छा लगा हमको यहाँ पर आकर के, काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें देखी और बहुत सारी शुभकामनाएं भी हैं कि आगे भी ऐसा कुछ होगा और भी देखने को मिलेगा।
When India turns 75 on August 15, 2022, it will mark a moment that comes but rarely in history, when we step out from the old to the new. It will be the era of New India, an era where India begins its journey to become a global leader in thought and action. How can you contribute positively to this mission? Let's find out. Given the brisk pace of development in the world today, the development of New India is expected to be achieved sooner than envisioned. This cannot be achieved solely by conventional methods. It requires a paradigm shift in thinking, methods and tools. With Bhavishya ki Jhalkiya, take a seat in the helicopter pod and brace yourselves for a splendid 180-degree projection of the nation's exciting futuristic developments.
अपनी कुर्सी की पेटी कसें और सवारी का आनंद लें। शानदार ढोला सादिया सेतु। ये पानी पर 9.15 किलोमीटर लंबाई के साथ भारत का सबसे लंबा स्थायी बीम पुल है। जम्मू और कश्मीर में चिनाब सेतु देखें, जो दुनिया का सबसे ऊंचा रेलवे आर्च ब्रिज है, जो महान हिमालय श्रृंखला पर बना है।
Stand shoulder to shoulder with fellow Indians and celebrate our greatest strength, our unity at the Unity Wall. Shatabdi Sankalp. Well, take a pledge and get a sneak peek into India's promising future. Learn about the future developments and also the role you will play in it. The Sangrahalaya has 43 galleries. The museum design incorporates sustainable and energy conservation practices. No tree was felled or transplanted during the course of work on the project. The museum can seat about 4,000 people at a time. For Indians, an entry ticket will cost 100 through online booking and 110 offline. The Pradhanmantri Sangrahalaya is fast turning into a centerpiece of attraction for the youth, connecting them with precious heritage of the country.
The younger group, the teenagers, group between say 15 to 45. That's the group which is coming here, and I am very pleased really and impressed that from 21st April, when this Sangrahalaya was open to public, till 31st of May, we had about 25,000 visitors.
At a time when the country is celebrating the Amrit Mahotsav of Independence, this museum has come as a grand inspiration.
75 years is a very important milestone for a country, and this is a moment when we need to sit and reflect and see where we were and where we are. Like in telecom, I was telling you, from the days of trunk calls, now you have over 1,100 million mobile phones in the country and everybody is connected. So this is a great development, great journey, and we must all be proud of this journey and success of India. And we want people of this country to come and visit this museum and get a sense of that progress and feel, proud of what we have achieved as a nation. And also this museum will tell you where all we need to go in the future.
In these 75 years, the country has seen many proud moments. The importance of these moments in the window of history is incomparable. The Sangrahalaya building is certain to be one of Delhi's most iconic structures with a grand architectural plan that is aesthetically executed. If you have visited it already, you will definitely come again. If not, do not delay this visit any further. Well, that's all we had for you in this edition. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to Sansad TV. Namaskar.